Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. Today we're doing the aftermath of the Ultimate Bounce, which was the gig that I played at last night. And buckle up and strap in because this one is kind of a little bit of a weird one. So obviously we do a lot of these aftermaths of like gigs, and I'll tell you like experiences of how like gigs have gone and how like gigs have been. And sometimes you can have some like really weird experiences at gigs, and there can be some quite good stories to tell about like various gigs or like various events. So if you are new to the channel and you've not watched like my other sort of like gig aftermaths or like gig announcements or anything like that, then I do recommend that you go back and watch some of them, because there can be some quite sort of interesting stories to come out of these aftermaths, most definitely. So yesterday was an event called Ultimate Bounce that took place at Hull Cheese in Hull, and this was the first time in my entire life that I even knew that there was an upstairs room in Hull Cheese. Like, obviously I knew there was an upstairs because you can see windows, but I obviously didn't know that there was like an upstairs club room. I just thought like maybe it was just like living quarters where the owner lived, or maybe sometimes upstairs rooms in pubs can be just disused, and maybe it's just, I don't know, they've upgraded the pool table at some point and then they've just put the old pool table upstairs out of the way and it's just like a storage, or they keep some stock up there. So I didn't actually know that there was an upstairs in Hull Cheese. So here's the sort of like mad story about the event and how the event kind of took place. So, have you ever been to an event where the promoter hasn't even turned up? Yeah, that is the length of where we're going in today's stream. An event where the promoter hasn't even turned up to his own event. So, I'll give you a little bit of an analogy. So, a couple of, well, I'd say probably about, probably just over a month ago now, I build a friend out essentially by lending them a speaker for a birthday party, which then ended up me DJing there as well. So we did this like birthday party for somebody at a pub, and my a friend of mine was also DJing, and he asked me if I was available on the 28th of this month, and would I like to DJ at an event that's taking place in the upstairs of Hull Cheese. And he said that a Scottish promoter had been in touch with him and said that he was thinking about coming down to Hull and putting something on in Hull, putting some form of an event on in Hull, and asked my friend if he knew any like local DJs that would like to play. And my friend, being my friend, obviously knew a couple of people and thought, it gives us all a chance to to get out there and play a set and be part of a what would hopefully be an enjoyable little night. So my friend obviously agreed, and my friend ended up becoming a little bit more like you would have just thought it was his own event. So my friend designed the flyer. I think my friend had like more or less booked all the DJs and more or less just more or less ran everything. I think the only thing that he hadn't done was like set up the Skiddle link for the tickets. Um, so this event was obviously due to take place, and you know um, there was a lack of like promotion on the event. So like you just weren't really seeing it on Facebook. Like no advertisement of the event. There was nothing. Um, that you could see. You know, apart from like just the flyer being shared the odd time, whereas you see like some of the, you know, the bigger events, the bigger hardcore nights, you know, you see flyers all the time, and you know, they get absolutely rammed with promotion, and you know, the promoters spamming it every single day, whereas this one was just that there was a real lack. And I heard some rumours regarding the promoter as well not being the best person, and few people said they'd encountered few issues with him, and I just thought, well, it's not my event. I've not really been asked to help organise this, so at the end of the day, I'll just turn up and play a set. And turn up and play a set. So, anyway, it was getting pretty close to the event, and I hadn't seen anything. It was like, I don't know, it was like probably about a week and a half before the event was due to take place. And I messaged my friend Dave, and I just said, look, is this thing still actually happening? You know, because I just hadn't really seen anything regarding it. And he was like, that I know of, it's still going ahead. Um, and then probably about 3 or 4 days ago, I actually only just found the event page. Like literally only just stumbled across that there was even an event page, and then there was some set times that got posted in the event page, and there was about 2 people that responded to either interested or going on the event page, and then like just literally it was just like, oh well, it must be still going ahead. So I just thought, well, all I can do is turn up, and I thought, you know what, it's Hull Cheese. It's, you know, a lot of people go to Hull Cheese. It's like a central sort of like club, sort of pub club place. So I just thought, you know, there might be a few people that just fancy venturing upstairs and, you know, coming and seeing what the crack was all about. So it got to the day of the event, and I went over to the venue, and my friend Dave, he was hiring the equipment to him. So the promoter like hired the decks off of my friend to use his CDJs at the event, and he told my friend Dave that he was going to be there about 8 o'clock, and he said, "Don't worry about a mixer. I've secured a mixer. You know, we're all good on that score. I'm in Hull now at a family member's, which there's never been any word of this guy before having any connections to Hull, having any relations or any relatives or any like, you know, reason to visit somebody in Hull. But he said he was coming at 8, so all right, yeah, fair enough, sound. So my friend Davey arrives. He's there with the 2 CDJs, and I arrive probably about 20 past, nearly 25 past 8. My set time's at 9 o'clock, and just essentially there's no sign of this guy. There's just no sign of this promoter, and my mate Dave's trying to ring him. He's trying to text him. He's like, look, are you coming to this? You coming to your event or not? Are you on your way? Whereabouts are you? We've got no mixer. The event starts in like 15 minutes, and then luckily one of my friends he arrived. He was coming to watch me play, and luckily he knew my other friend as well, and to sort of try and salvage the event, my mate said, look, my mate said to my other mate, would you give me a quick lift home, and then I can grab my mixer, and then we can somewhat salvage at this event, because you know obviously due to start. So my mate Dave and my other mate, they went off to get the mixer, and I stayed obviously outside the club just in case the promoter decided to show up, or obviously for the other DJs coming as well, just to kind of say, look, what's happened. And one of the MCs and one of the other DJs turned up, and we sort of hung around outside for a bit. And then my mate Dave came back with a mixer. We got set up and we got to it, but the guy was a no-show. And from what I'm aware of, he actually blocked my mate Dave on Facebook. He actually blocked him, and literally just told him that literally didn't respond to his messages and just full on blocked him. And I think that I'm aware of, he owed the venue for the venue hire as well. So I think my mate Dave, I think he got left to pay the venue hire. So the guy is obviously pulled a fast one, and he's obviously, he's organised this event. He's got somebody else to. He sort of basically had an idea about an event, and then he's got somebody else to basically organise it for him. And then he's just kind of, in some sense, done a runner, and obviously left my mate to, to pay the venue, and to obviously loan his decks out and not be paid for deck hire. So obviously it was a terrible thing to do, and it's really quite disheartening that there's people like that within the music scene, because I'm a big, I'm a lover of the music scene myself. I've got a passion for music, and it's so disheartening that there's actually people out there that sort of they make themselves a part of the music scene, but for the wrong reasons. Like even within the music scene, there's scammers out there, and there's people that are there to to do wrong, and to rip people off, and when music started, when the rave scene sort of started blowing up and evolving in the late 80s, early 90s, and the acid house was coming through. It was such a happy time. It was such a happy place, and music was always supposed to be a happy thing. And it's just a really disheartening, upsetting situation that people have obviously got to that point where it's they don't, where we have people like scammers, and we have people that are part of the music scene for, for the wrong reasons, and people rip people off, and even people will, like they'll come online and they'll put coaches onto events, and then they'll get people's money for a coach seat, and then there's no such thing as a coach, and they rip hundreds of people off, and it's just a shame. So to DJ Kieran Wells from Scotland, you're a class A muppet. I don't ever want to speak to you. I don't ever want to associate with you, and I will never be a part of anything that you put on, or I will never be associated with anything that you are ever doing again. And I think for me mate Dave, it's been a big wake up call that this thing has just been a whole complete scam from the off. And a few people said, if we'd have seen this event being advertised and promoted a little bit more, like we would have warned you that this guy was obviously, he was obviously, he was obviously no good. He was a no good person. So that was obviously, um, just not good in that sense. So apart from that, me friend Dave, he decided to obviously keep the event going and salvage the event. So he literally said, f this, f the promoter. He told the people of the nightclub, we'll just make it a free entry, because there was like, it was like, I don't know if it was like £8 or something to get in, which I think was a little bit steep, to be honest with you. When you can go sort of downstairs for free, and there's music on downstairs, and then suddenly if you want to go upstairs it's £8. So we decided to make it free entry, which I think was the right move. Really, I think it should have been free entry from the off, to be honest, just because you've got a free nightclub downstairs, but it's like £8 if you want to come up to the room too. Like, I just think that's a little bit, like, why would people you know, why would people in some sense want to pay to go upstairs when it's free downstairs, and it's a lot more busier downstairs, and there's a lot more of an atmosphere downstairs. So I think making it free was definitely the right call. And I think we started about 15, 20 minutes late. Um, I warmed up and started off on the decks, and I just played for a good while until the next DJ turned up, which you know, there was just a few little things that just needed adjusting, and a few little things that just obviously needed to you know, just to be rearranged. And there was one DJ who couldn't originally make it, and then his girlfriend was like, "Oh, I'll babysit the kids so you can go and do the set," and then he was back on, and then I was told, you know, just play until he turned up. So I got like a really long extended set, and it was just, you know, I was just in this booth and in this room, and it was just quite enjoyable. You know, a good thing for me. What I do like about situations like this, and don't get me wrong, this is not me saying that I love situations like this, but um, you get a room, and you know, and you get the opportunity to have a good mix, and you get the opportunity to have the music really loud. You know, like if I did that at home, you know, if I booted up a sound system that loud at home and had a proper session, like, you know, you'd have complaints within a couple of seconds. You know, when bass starts thumping. And so sometimes, um, you know, when you just get that little bit of a chance to have a longer set, or you know, something just hasn't really planned out, so it just goes a little bit different, and then it's kind of like, well, you get this room and you get this nightclub just to have a load of fun, and then it becomes about kind of like, well, you're not just playing the set that you planned, and then you just kind of, you know, you're just kind of like playing a bit of anything and delving into a little bit of anything, with, you know, with the folders and stuff. And it's just a really good, it's, you know, it's a good thing in that sense, because, you know, if anything, it gives you a little bit of practice. um, but yeah, so the event itself, the night wasn't too busy. We had, you know, one or two people actually like venture up into the room, and at one point it did get a little bit busy. There was a few people that had ventured up, and you know, probably stayed for about 15, 20 minutes, and then it sort of thinned out again. It was a little bit of a shame, and you know, there was a lack in promotion. There was a lack in people really knowing that this event was happening. A lot of people actually didn't come because they, you know, it was originally, it was a pay to get in kind of thing. Um, Even someone I know was going to come and support my set, but was having some money issues and wouldn't pay, you know, like £8 to get in, and then didn't realise or see that it had been turned into free entry, and actually apologised. Um, you know, so obviously it's just one of them things. But apart from, you know, the mistakes and the errors that the night sort of started off with, we somewhat, I would say, on a positive note, the night was salvaged, and although it didn't go as it was originally planned, we all had a good time and we all enjoyed ourselves, and it was, you know, it was an enjoyable night, with us just all having a bit of fun. And you know, it was just kind of like a get together and a mix in like a big room with just a few people coming up and seeing us now and again. You know, we had our own bar as well, so it was just go over to the bar and get a drink. And obviously, you know, I don't drink alcohol anymore, so it was just Coke for me. Um, but it was, you know, in that sense, it was an enjoyable vibe. You know, we had a bit of fun, and you know, I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did in that sense. So the next gig for me is, we're in Leicester in a couple of weeks, and I've not even booked the B&B yet. Um, because well, actually, I think a friend who came and watched me play last night, he was actually thinking of coming with me. So like, whether whether he drives and then we drive back, or whether he wants to stay somewhere. I'll have to obviously speak to him and see what the score is. But I'll probably just stay where I stayed last time. It was a nice enough place just for the night, just somewhere to get your head down for the night. Um, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down, and yeah, we'll take it from there. But that is the next event, and then after that, it is the Core Vibes in Birmingham, which I believe we'll be driving there and driving back. I'm with the layman for that one, so normally he likes to drive there and drive back, because layman lives on some he lives on some fucking mega superpowers. Trust me, I don't know how this person gets through life the way he does, but he's a soldier. He's a machine. He can do like 3 raves in one weekend, and practically all 3 nights are more or less all nighters. So I think there was so I did one weekend with him, and I did 2 nights out of 3. And on the Friday night, he was booked to take photos at an event in Doncaster. And then on the Saturday night, he was booked for an event in Skegness. So we went over to Skegness, and we did an event there, and that was like a really, we got in at like 7 in the morning. And then the night before, I think we got in at like 2, 3, maybe 4 in the morning. Um, and then on the Sunday, he was back in Doncaster again for another event. It was a bank holiday weekend, and I've got no clue how like he just survived. And he drove to these places, he drove back, and he he was getting in like every morning at like stupid o'clock, because you've got to remember as well, like even if I was with him, like he dropped me off first, so even after he dropped me off, he'd still had to drive home himself. And when we went to Skegness, we took somebody with us, and they actually live near Beverley, so he came all the way back from Skegness through Hull to Beverley, and then literally we dropped her off, and then he dropped me home, and then he drove home himself. And then the next day, he got up and he went on the road again, and he went to an event, and it was absolutely crazy how he just how he managed to do it. Um, like he's just got some kind of like mega energy like that. That is crazy. Trust me, absolutely crazy, absolutely bonkers how he managed to do it. But he managed to do it, and he does it quite a lot. Where he'll go to like an event, and he'll get in at like 5, 6 in the morning, and then he'll get up at 9. And he'll get ready and get on the road, and he'll go and hit like a festival or something. Absolutely crazy. So yeah. But anyway, that is essentially going to do it for this stream. There's another video stroke stream that I want to do, that I'm going to do when I get a little bit of free time. I'm going to have a mega busy week at work again, because we're planning the Youth Arts Festival that's taking place next weekend. So it's going to be some busy days for me. Work meeting tomorrow. Then like Thursday, I'll be there like helping set up, and then I'm still running my music lab, studio sessions, working in the office. Then Friday and Saturday, I'll be actually at the festival itself, and I'll be working the festival. And I think on the Friday night, I'm at the Hull University doing a red disco night that I've been helping to organise as well. So it doesn't stop for me. But before I did this stream, I watched a video from a guy called Alaskans. Now, I've spoke about him on this channel before. Like, I don't speak about him all the time, but I've mentioned about him in various occasions. And if you don't follow this guy, or you don't watch this guy, and if you're into like music and DJing, then I recommend that you watch this guy, because this guy he's been on YouTube since YouTube was a thing. So he's one of the really early YouTube channels that surfaced. So even like back in 2006, he was uploading videos to YouTube, and he's a DJ tutor. So he uploads videos and he gives like tips, and um, he does tutorials on like how to beat match. He does tutorials on scratching. He does reviews of like brand new music equipment. He reviews disco lights. He reviews speakers. He reviews mixers. He reviews standalone controllers. He goes live on his channel, and he does like live streams, and he's mixing vinyl. And he's just a guy. He's been a DJ since I think since the 80s, and he's just kind of like had all this knowledge of DJing over the years. And when YouTube became a thing, he got this idea that there wasn't really anything out there sort of showing people about DJing, and talking about DJing, and just, genuinely where you could watch something and you could potentially learn to DJ yourself through watching something. So he put up a video today, and it was a very interesting discussion. It was like a discussion video, and it was about like vinyl DJs being better, or being like real DJs compared to like DJs now that like mix on controllers, and you know things like that. And it was a really good discussion. So I want to sort of come live at some point, or do some form of video, and I want to do my take on the whole discussion, because I think there's a good discussion there, and I want to give sort of my thoughts and opinions. And I did somewhat agree with his. But go to Alaskans, the DJ tutor. Go and watch him, because he puts some really good videos up. Go back to some of the old ones. Go to some recent ones, and just listen to what he says, and just listen to what he talks about, because he's got some really good analogies. And he's been on YouTube for a lot of years. He's got a lot of respect of people, and he's not out there to hurt anybody or harm anybody. He's just a sound guy. And he's probably, for me, is one of my sort of like favorite YouTubers, just because I love what he does. Like, I don't specifically like to watch him all the time, because I like sometimes I just I find like genuinely like just watching a lot of tutorials all the time can get quite boring, and it makes it feel like education. But that doesn't mean to say that I disagree with like what he does, because I love everything that he does. And I'd love to do like what he does, because I think it's like really good. But just for me personally, like, I like to watch different things. Do you know what I mean? But that's no disrespect to him. He's a great guy. Go and watch him. But yeah, so I'm gonna do like a video stroke, maybe a stream in a couple of days, and I'm gonna give my take, my thoughts on what I think about that, what I think about him, his idea, and just sort of take his discussion, give my views on obviously what I think. So but that's going to do it for this stream anyway. I've not been feeling too good today. I've felt absolutely shocking, and I've not really eaten today either. So I'm going to think about maybe getting something to eat, maybe venturing out and just getting myself a burger or something. I don't know. I've just not felt like food. I've not felt myself lately, and I've just been like trying to push on, and carry on going to work, and carry on, like attending gigs and stuff. And I've just felt a little run down for a while, and I've just decided to keep going. And when I say run down, I don't just mean tired, but I guess I mean like just feeling. I don't want to go as far as to say depressed, but feeling a little bit down, most definitely. And just a lot of things have been going on lately, like outside of music, and you can try and put a smile on it and carry on all you like, and you can wake up each day and go to work and have a good time, but it doesn't erase the problems. It doesn't erase what goes on in your mind. And you can have a laugh and you can have a mix, and by all means, having a laugh and a mix, it does help. But whatever's troubling you is still there in the back of the mind, and it never fully goes away. You may be happy in that moment while you're having a mix, and then you stop having a mix and you get laid in bed, and suddenly there's nothing else to think of, so that comes back on the mind again. And today I've just felt like really headachy. My stomach's just not felt that good. And I've just I went to visit my mum. And I got sat in the chair at my mum's, and I went to sleep. I felt really cold and shivery. I just put a blanket over me and went to sleep. And even she knows herself that I've obviously not been myself, and I've obviously, that I'm just not as talkative and as laughy, and as musically orientated at the moment. So I think I'm just getting a bit run down. So we'll just see what happens, but hopefully you don't. I mean, I'd never want this DJ Ash Noble to disappear. Don't get me wrong. And hopefully that obviously never happens, because nothing musically wise is getting me down. There's nothing in the music side of things. I love all of that, but I obviously don't want to get to the point where I'm getting so run down and stuff myself that it starts to affect the music. So um, you know how it goes. So there we go. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so that is going to do it for the stream. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Oh.